I love YouTube. When I was a kid, my mom signed me up for this website, and it's been history ever since. From making terrible skits with my Bionicles with my mom's digital camera, to making dumb Bakugan videos with my friends, to the current day where I make video essays about toys, YouTube has been a constant in my life. I'm not just someone who has been creating though. Since I discovered the site, I have been inhaling pretty much any type of content you can think of. What's good, internet? Jake here, dumb as ever, and in today's video, I'm going to be exploring the strange world of YouTuber toys. Back in the day, YouTube was a lot smaller and creators were way more personal. But as the platform has grown, YouTube has become more and more corporate, and it's very normal for creators to sell clothes, plushies, and even toys. It's really funny. I remember early on, if a YouTuber got a sponsorship, their fan base would usually get mad and call them sellouts. Nowadays, it's so normalized, and I think many people understand and are even happy when their favorite YouTuber gets a sponsorship. Before we get into the video, in the background, I'm playing Fortnite with the MrBeast skin and Skibidi Toilet backpack. Do not ask why I own either. Also, if you enjoy the video, please consider liking and subscribing to appease the lord of YouTube, Algae Rhythm. When I think about YouTube toys, my first thought always goes to YouTooz. YouTooz is a Canadian toy company that was started in 2019 with the intent of creating vinyl figures of popular YouTubers and memes at the time. Their first release was called Dead Meme and is based on the Ugandan Knuckles meme. The meme first appeared in 2017, and by 2019 it was very much a dead meme. But in January of 2019 it was revived for a bit, though the revival was less about the meme and more about how funny it is to talk about the dead meme. Post-ironic humor can get complicated. Over the years, Dead Meme has become a mascot of sorts for YouTooz, and they released many different variants. I have to wonder how it's legal to put out a knockoff Knuckles toy so boldly, but I'm assuming it's safe under some sort of parody protection, or Sega just doesn't care. The first YouTuber release was Fitz, who does gaming content and is a part of the Misfits group of YouTubers. In the company's first year, they released a lot of figures based on YouTubers and more memes like Nyan Cat or Harambe. Now that's a dead meme. YouTooz employs a very clever selling strategy of turning most releases into a limited time drop. Normally, you're given a window of time to pre-order the figure, and once that window closes, you can no longer buy the toy from YouTooz. This also has helped add to the collectability of the line, and the secondary market can fluctuate a lot based on the popularity of these YouTubers. For example, YouTooz products for Technoblade, a beloved Minecraft YouTuber who passed away, almost always sell above retail price, while disgraced YouTubers who fell off, like Wilbur Soot, tend to sell not as well. When I first saw YouTooz, one thing came to mind: YouTuber Funko Pops. And I thought that was a pretty good idea. YouTooz were targeting a market that wasn't quite utilized by mainstream companies yet, and it was proving to be a success. Now, in retrospect, the first few years of YouTooz releases are very funny, because many of the YouTubers they made have fallen off, gotten canceled, or straight up died. YouTooz didn't just work with YouTubers at first, they also worked with Twitch streamers and musicians as well, though all of these folks tend to fall under the umbrella term of content creation. In 2020, YouTooz released the first licensed figure that was not based on a content creator or a meme, with Arthur. You know, the anteater guy? Well, I guess it's still kind of a meme, with the toy being based on the image of Arthur making a fist right before he clocks DW. Ironically, he punches her for breaking his toy. Low-key deserved. Since this first collab figure, YouTooz has collabed with many brands. They started out with properties that found themselves being memed, like Narcos with the Waiting Pablo meme, but it wouldn't be long before they branched out into making stylized characters from video games, movies, television, comics, basically anything. And the brand hasn't just expanded their vinyl line, they've expanded everything. Seriously, they sell plushies, clothes, pins, puzzles, nightlights, and soda and gummies? Why would I ever buy soda and gummies from a website that sells vinyl toys? That seems like such a strange decision. Let's talk about the design of YouTooz, which includes their iconic smiling eyes, or at least that's what I call them. I honestly really enjoy the designs for YouTooz. I like their proportions a lot more than Pop's, and they tend to be more interesting than what Funko puts out in my opinion. Like this Godzilla vs. Kong set is so awesome. I love how they're standing on the ship like in the movie. The smiling eyes design doesn't always fit the character designs, especially the licensed stuff, so sometimes YouTooz will slip it into the designs in a low-key way, like Patrick's eyes here, but sometimes they just forego it entirely, like with their South Park line. It's understandable, but I personally like when they have the eye design. If I'm collecting a vinyl figure, I usually want the company behind its iconic look. Maybe that mentality is just because I've always known vinyl figures to be highly stylized. I'm sure plenty of people like the super accurate look as well. I have almost bought many YouTooz releases, but the higher prices have always stopped me. But last year they announced a YouTooz line based on the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, and one figure in particular caught my eye. Springtrap, or as the box calls him, Yellow Rabbit. Maybe he's not technically Springtrap yet? Still, it's weird they went with Yellow Rabbit over Spring Bonnie or just William Afton. My favorite scene from the movie is when Springtrap appears out of the shadows and he's just this hulking beast that the main character doesn't even realize is human at first. I think this YouTooz figure is very cool, and it's really nice to have a toy based on the movie at all. I mean, for real, whoever has an action figure license for FNAF is squandering it big time. I should own a hyper-articulated Springtrap at this point in my life, let's be for real. Five Nights at Freddy's is actually one of YouToo's biggest brands, as it has a fan base that's usually starved of good merch. My biggest issue with this product is how long it took to get to me. I realize it was a pre-order, but it took so long to come out. I ordered it in May, and if I remember correctly, their aim was to have it shipped by September. I got the figure 2 months later in November. I didn't really care, but it was a long time to wait, and I've heard and read this is kind of a normal problem for the company. As a YouTuber and toy fanatic, I can't help but aspire to have something like a YouTooz one day. There's also a company called MakeShip that I wanted to briefly mention. They have a similar business model of working with YouTubers, except they make plushies and use crowdfunding instead of pre-orders. I know the company for plushies, but it seems like they used to make vinyl toys, though I think these look pretty generic even compared to Funko Pops. But the last campaign they did was in 2022, so it's safe to say they've moved on from vinyl figures. I think the MakeShip plushies are a lot cuter, and again, I would love to make a dumbjake dinosaur plushie one day. In my opinion, it's cool these companies exist because 99% of these YouTubers would probably never make toys otherwise, and these toys feel like tangible snapshots of certain times on the internet. YouTooz, MakeShip, call me, please. It's difficult to wrap my head around the insane success of Skibidi Toilet. I want to talk about the origins of Skibidi Toilet because I think there's a lot of hatred for the series at the moment, which is pretty understandable, but I think more context may help people like it more or at least hate it less. In February of 2023, YouTuber DaFookBoom, whose name I am mispronouncing on purpose so I don't get demonetized, uploaded a YouTube short called Skibidi Toilet, which featured a man's head coming out of a toilet and singing a mashup of Give It To Me by Timbaland and Dom Dom Yes by Bizer King. In the internet business, this is what we call a shitpost, likely intended as a one-off meme by Boom, who is no stranger to making silly one-off videos. Boom makes these videos in a program called Source Filmmaker, or SFM for short, a program released by Valve which lets you animate using the Source game engine. That's my rudimentary understanding anyway, but SFM content creators like Boom have been around YouTube for ages making silly videos, and there's a good chance you've actually watched a DaFookBoom video and didn't even realize it. If you're a fan of my channel already, you know I primarily cover Transformers content. Well, I'm happy to say that Boom is a fellow Transformers fan, and along with his funny animations, he also animated awesome fight scenes featuring Transformers. If you look at Boom's channel, you can really see how all the elements of his previous work lends itself to Skibidi Toilet. From the comedy, to the action, to the cool robot designs, and even the use of Transformers models from other games. After watching the entire Skibidi Toilet series, the only way I can really explain it is a shitpost that went out of control. The first video went viral, prompting Boom to make more, but as he kept making them, he started adding vague story elements and introducing characters with cameras for heads, then Titan-sized good guys to fight giant evil Skibidi Toilets. Now, I think it's completely fair to say that this series is stupid and the ideas within are ridiculous, but I think a lot of people are taking a weird moral stance because they think Skibidi Toilet is quote-unquote rotting brains. For some reason, a lot of the internet has taken up the same values as 80s mothers who think television rots your brain and Dungeons and Dragons is satanic. I think it's definitely fair to to say that adults as a whole need to be more mindful about what kids watch on the internet, but I really do feel like Skibidi Toilet is not the worst thing they could be watching, especially when there's stuff like Andrew Tate and content farms. Since Boom has started the series, he's taken us farther and farther into this war-torn world of toilets and cameras, and has taken the story to some even stranger places while prioritizing banger action scenes. All that being said, I don't think Skibidi Toilet is a masterpiece or anything. For most of the series, it's 98% action scenes with sprinkles of hints of a story. It wasn't even until recently that the characters started talking, and as time has gone on, the Skibidi song that started the series has been used less and less, and even the Skibidi Toilets themselves have started to look less like toilets. I think the series is on its way to being more interesting for sure, but if you're not a huge fan of non-stop action, then the series may not be for you. Here's something I'm sure you've heard before. Michael Bay is directing a Skibidi Toilet movie. At least that's what I've heard, but it turns out that's not entirely true. Michael Bay's production company, Invisible Narratives, is working with the Boom to expand the Skibidi Toilet brand. Invisible Narratives is described as a digital studio bridging Hollywood expertise and the creator economy, transforming digital stories into lasting global entertainment franchises. Clever use of the word transforming there, Michael. Basically, they help digital creators get their properties into the mainstream media. I'm not surprised Boom is working with Invisible Narratives considering he's such a big Transformers fan, and more than likely he was inspired by Michael Bay's movies for Skibidi Toilet's huge, city-destroying action scenes. In this press release from Licensing International, Michael Bay is even quoted as saying, "I've been following Boom since his early days, when he was uploading fan-made Transformers pre-viz videos. Watching him transition from that to building a character-rich franchise has been truly inspiring. Boom is a rare talent and he's just getting started." So yes, Bay is involved with a potential Skibidi Toilet movie, but there's no confirmation that he would direct it. Honestly, I assume Boom himself would direct a feature film version. The same press release also talks about how Invisible Narratives is partnering with Bonker Toys to create Skibidi Toilet toys. If you've never heard of Bonker's Toys, I don't blame you. They mostly make toys for child-centric YouTube channels like Ryan's World and Lanky Box. The Skibidi toy line is kind of mid right now, with the mostly blind boxes featuring small plastic versions of the characters. I actually bought one and got the cameraman character. The figure was bigger than I was expecting. He's about the size of a YouTooz figure, in fact. Plastic quality isn't great, but the sculpt is decent, and I typically like these types of figures, so I was pretty happy to have this guy. I don't really like the fact that every kid's toy has to be a blind box. Like, even the plushies are in big blind bags for some reason. Of course, the magnum opus of this line is the giant Skibidi Toilet, which costs like $50 for some ungodly reason. I think it's kinda terrible though. It's $50 and comes with 2 minifigures, stickers, and a lanyard. Seriously, the best they could do is a lanyard. In my opinion, they should have made the big Skibidi into a playset for the blind bag figures. I think that would have been way cooler. Though this lineup is kind of mid, I'm excited to say that Bonkers has announced a line of deluxe Skibidi Toilet action figures that are coming to stores soon. They got announced via Target listings, and these figures unironically look fantastic. They're 6-inch figures and probably scale well with Marvel Legends. These are kind of exactly what I wanted in terms of Skibidi Toilet toys, and the articulation looks surprisingly good. All of these figures have double jointed elbows and knees, which I wouldn't expect from a toy company like Bonkers, who hasn't really dipped their toe into action figures until now to my knowledge. I don't think these figures are perfect though. They are really lacking in accessories, with only 2 of the figures, Plunger Man and Dark Speaker Man, having weapons. Cameraman having nothing sucks, but they could have at least given him a thumbs up hand, which is an iconic element of the series. Speaking of iconic, TV Woman is one of the best designs in the show, and I think this figure looks super awesome. I love the stock picture they took of her. I am disappointed though, because she doesn't have accessories and it seems like her head doesn't detach like it does in the show, which could have been a cool feature. The body sculpts are all very similar as well, though that's due to the designs, to be fair. I think this is a great looking first wave, and I'll probably pick them up knowing myself. Some things from this line that I would like to see in the future are larger figures. They probably could not make scale accurate Titans, but I would want the toys to be at least big bigger than the other deluxe figures. I would also like to see more of the alien Skibidi Toilet designs make an appearance, because right now the line is just all good guys. Overall, I really appreciate what Skibidi is trying to do. It's a completely out there series and makes no sense, but there have been plenty of properties like that in the past. Garbage Pail Kids and Madball come to mind. This series is just different because it's rooted in internet shorts and memes. It's strange and different, but assuming the series is awful and brain rot isn't really productive or analytical, it just kinda seems like hating for the sake of it. But that's just my opinion though. Let me know what you think about Skibidi Toilet in the comments below. I'm really interested. I'm sure you don't need me to tell you about the popularity of Minecraft. Since the game's alpha release in 2009, Minecraft has become one of the most iconic video games of all time. Up there with Hall of Fame series like Mario, God of War, and Halo. A huge reason for this popularity is due to YouTube content creators. Now, I'm a bit older, so I started watching Minecraft content with classic YouTube series like Yogscast's Shadow of Israfel or X's Adventures in Minecraft. Fun story, when I was younger, the first time I ever laid eyes on Minecraft was watching Yogscast videos on my mom's iPod Touch. When I saw the mix of 2D pixel art style and 3D gameplay, I swear my brain broke. It was unlike anything I had ever seen, and I honestly thought it wasn't even a real game. Now, this isn't going to be a breakdown of Minecraft YouTuber history, mostly because I didn't really watch that much Minecraft content until the 2019 resurgence with Call Me Carson's SMP Live server, but I did want to talk about what I would consider the second wave of Minecraft YouTubers, who mostly started with the 2010 beta version of the game. These YouTubers like Sky Does Minecraft, Ant Venom, Captain Sparkles, and more became insanely popular, with their frequent uploads regularly getting millions of views. In 2015, the toy company Jazzwares released a line of toys based on these popular creators called Tube Heroes. These legally distinct from Minecraft 4-inch toys were released as single figures and in multi-packs. There are a couple funny things about the release of these toys. The first is that by 2015, the popularity of these creators was beginning to fizzle out. Their views slowly began to go down, and a lot of them retired or moved on to other things. And Sky Does Minecraft even completely abandoned their Minecraft persona in favor of becoming a rapper. I'm sure playing one game and uploading daily for 4 to 5 years straight burnt them out. Even funnier is that some of the creators have straight up committed crimes. I swear so many of them like Sky Does Minecraft and popular MMOs have lost their marbles. It feels comparable to how child actors tend to go crazy when they get older. It's probably the amount of money and fame they received in such a short time that sent them off the deep end, though that's only speculation. I'm not trying to get into the dark details of what's gone on with these people. Fellow YouTuber Chazington released a video recently getting into the nitty-gritty of all these people's histories, so I definitely recommend watching that. Personally, I'm here to talk about these ugly, ugly toys. I hate these low-effort, generic, and boring to look at toys with my whole heart. This line sucks. It basically consists of a bunch of single figures, 2-packs, and multi-packs. The only playset I could find is this 2-pack with Dan TDM and an NPC character from his Minecraft videos. The playset comes with a minecart that the 2 figures can ride. I don't know how many different ways I can say this toy line sucks, but it does, man. Even the packaging is bland. Something interesting to me though is that around the same time as the Tube Heroes line, Jazzwares was also releasing a Terraria toy line. In case you don't know, Terraria is a game that is often described as 2D Minecraft. Though the two aren't really similar in terms of gameplay, you get the idea. I have to say the Terraria toy line looks so much better than Tube Heroes. Even the packaging is better, with actual theming being present. This line was actually kinda dope. It had player characters, NPCs, monsters, and even boss monsters. It pretty much covered everything I would expect from Terraria toys plus more, because they even did this cool multi-level playset. Wait a minute, that minecart is the exact same one from the Dan TDM set. They just reused it from the Terraria playset. Tube Heroes somehow becomes a worse toy line with each passing second. Both Tube Heroes and Terraria panned out to be failures, so Jazzwares moved on to their Roblox line of toys, which they still make to this day. Tube Heroes is an odd toy line that tried to capture a market in all the wrong ways. I hate you, Tube Heroes. Animation on YouTube has gone through a roller coaster of popularity. Animated shorts, most of which originating from Newgrounds, dominated the early YouTube charts. Animators like Harry Angry Partridge, Oni and G, and Egoraptor blew up on the platform with their hilarious and crass animated shorts. Things were going great until YouTube started to push more family-friendly content and penalized uploads under 8 minutes in the algorithm. Even a 2-minute short could take these independent animators months to complete. So with these barriers from YouTube being placed, it became near impossible to make a living on YouTube while animating. As many animators attempted to adapt to these restrictions, others branched out into different YouTube content, like Egoraptor with Game Grumps. Overall, the early 2010s was a bad time to be an animation YouTuber, until 2014 with the rise of storytime animators. In 2014, YouTubers began using animation to tell life stories, like their first job or high school stories, very relatable content with a comedic angle, though they tended not to dip into the offensive nature of earlier YouTube animators. It was wholesome content, for lack of a better word, and I really like animated story times. In the last couple years though, I've noticed a shift in the YouTube animation scene. In the last few years alone, I've seen indie projects like Big Top Burger, Lackadaisy, and Has Been Hotel explode with successful pilot episodes. Has Been Hotel even got picked up by A24, which is insane to me. This new era of YouTube animation brings us to our next subject, the amazing digital circus. Created by a YouTuber named Gooseworks in collaboration with an indie animation studio called Glitch Productions, the amazing digital circus is a 3D animated show featuring humans that are trapped in a digital realm run by a goofy, fun-loving AI named Kane. I absolutely love this show. It's got the perfect mix of goofiness, terror, and adventure, and it presents some really interesting ideas about existential dread. The Amazing Digital Circus's pilot went absolutely viral, and the show was greenlit for an entire season by Glitch. The great thing about Gooseworks partnering with Glitch is obviously the safety net of financial backing, but also that Glitch can handle all the non-cartoon aspects, like merch.
And look, your best friend Pomni is here too to lend her iconic smile!
I want this nightmare to end.
I have to say, I am so impressed by the amount of quality merch Glitch has been able to put out. Vinyl figures, plushies, pins, shirts, they have everything a fan could want. I think their line of vinyl figures called Animates is actually owned by Glitch, or they're a company that has only ever worked with Glitch. It's kinda hard to tell. I think the vinyl figures look fantastic, and the designs translate pretty much perfectly into real life. They also make smaller blind box figures called Animinis, which are adorably scrunched up versions of the cast. I love the main character Pomni's Animinis so much, though she probably is my favorite character design, so I have bias. The real stars of the merch line are the plushies in my opinion. I've never been much of a plushie guy, but oh my god, they're so cute. Jax is another one of my favorite designs, and I love the plushie version so much. He's such a mischievous little guy. Also, oh my god, look at Gummy Goo. Gummy Goo is an NPC character from the second episode, and Glitch released his plushie when the episode dropped. He is such an adorable little guy and reminds me of that meme of the fat crocodile. Speaking of the second episode, instead of creating the whole season in one go, Gooseworks and Glitch are slowly releasing each episode as they complete them. This is obviously against the norm for a regular show, but Glitch has opted for this slow rollout, which really works in their favor because they can treat each episode like a merch drop. And Glitch goes all in, by the way. In Japan, they even opened a pop-up dining cafe based on Digital Circus, complete with Jax cakes and Pomni burger.
I want this nightmare to end.
This is a pretty awesome way to put out merch in my opinion, and it's really cool to have new merch to go with new episodes so soon. Jax burger. I think the biggest critique I have is that the prices skew a little high in my opinion, but I wouldn't say they're overpriced. I have to say I'm really impressed by the Amazing Digital Circus, the show and the merch, and I think it's amazing what they've accomplished in such a short time. Like I said in the intro, I love YouTube and I love seeing deserved success for YouTubers. MrBeast! Jimmy Donaldson, also known as MrBeast, has figured out YouTube. I remember first hearing about MrBeast during the PewDiePie vs. T-Series subscriber race. I vividly remember him spending a bunch of money on billboards to promote PewDiePie. Back then I remember thinking this guy is a professional meat writer, but now I see he's a YouTube addicted goon, and he probably realized inserting himself into the PewDiePie drama was going to get him attention. I'm not sure if that actually work for him. I mean, I forgot who he was after that anyway. Fast forward to 2020 and MrBeast's channel is blowing up. He basically mastered the YouTube algorithm by throwing money at every video and making poor people fight for it. I know I sound very critical, and I am, because I don't really enjoy his content. I've watched a lot of his videos, so it's not like I'm blindly hating, and I do like some of his videos, like his YouTuber Cube one, but overall his content just feels like a show you would see during the live action era of Cartoon Network. I didn't like it then, and I don't like it now. And I'm not even trying to discount the good MrBeast has done. Helping people get medical aid is always a net positive, even if Jimmy's doing it to advance his brand. But let's talk toys. I am sure you have seen some of these MrBeast toys. I was actually inspired to make this video because the idea alone of a MrBeast toy line is absurd. I mean, MrBeast is no stranger to expanding his brand. I see his chocolate bars at stores all the time, and remember MrBeast Burger? Me and my friends actually ordered MrBeast Burger once, and it was terrible, which is not surprising because the brand used ghost kitchens, which are empty buildings full of kitchens designed to take advantage of apps like DoorDash. I only mention this because the MrBeast toy line reminds me a lot of ghost kitchens. The MrBeast toys are made by Moose Toys, who have been around for a while. Shout out to Mighty Beans. Other Moose toy lines you might know are Goo-Jitsu, the Trash Pack, and Beast Labs. What? Isn't the MrBeast toy line called Beast Labs? We'll get back to that in a second, but let's talk about the miserable launch of this toy line. The partnership between Moose Toys and MrBeast was announced in January of last year, and Moose held a big showcase at San Diego Comic-Con in July. The event and the toy line as a whole was immediately met with a lot of criticism because at the time, one of MrBeast's friends that appeared in almost every video was outed for being weird and potentially a predator. I stopped paying attention to the drama after a few weeks, so I don't really know the details of that particular situation, and I don't really care to talk about it on this channel anyway. But suffice to say, the situation combined with the launch of a children's toy line raised some eyebrows. Now, obviously this situation was out of Moose's control, and obviously the product was already made, so it's not like they were going to back out of the deal. Plus, it's not like the toys can summon the spirit of Jimmy's predator friends, hopefully. There's like 100 other issues that came up last year with Jimmy, most of which seem to be employee issues, which doesn't surprise me. Jimmy scaled up his operation rapidly and probably had no real idea on how to run a company. But anyway, MrBeast's line of toys is called MrBeast Labs and has a few sublines. The main toy and the most popular one I've seen is the Swarms line, which features small rubber guys that you reveal in a test tube. I actually went ahead and bought a pack from Walmart to see what was up. I bought this 5-pack, which includes 3 visible figures and a mystery tube with 2 more characters. The box is hilarious, featuring a headshot of Jimmy with his classic dead-eyed smile. The 5-pack includes a little version of MrBeast's mascot. I'm not sure if he has a name, or if he's implied to be the titular MrBeast, though I doubt even the toy company has given this much thought. The other 2 figures are a snake and a fire hydrant. Classic MrBeast characters that you'll remember from his most iconic videos. Just kidding. Who are you people? I noticed on my MrBeast that his right eye is misprinted, so he looks absolutely unhinged. As for the mystery test tube, you're supposed to put water on it and make goo, but I opted to just pour the dust out of the bag. I have always hated goo and slime toys, and I'm not about to start liking them for MrBeast, man. After cleaning the forbidden pixie stick dust off of the toys, I found that I got a garbage creature and another damn snake? I mean, it's a different snake, but why are there so many snakes? What does snakes as an animal have to do with the MrBeast brand? These little guys are cute, but I fail to see how they tie into anything related to MrBeast. They mostly remind me of Moose's other toy line, the Trash Pack, which featured grotesque little rubber monsters like the MrBeast line. This isn't the only product that uses ideas from old Moose lines. The MrBeast Labs Cryo collector figure is exactly like another line from Moose that was literally called Beast Labs. Beast Labs toys were made up of large plastic containers that featured an action figure inside. The play pattern involved pouring liquid into a large plastic beaker to create your beast. The MrBeast version functions in a very similar way, though the idea of the toy seems to be you're awakening MrBeast from this large iceberg. The toy you get inside is like fine, okay articulation and lights and sounds, all that crap, but this is very much a toy trying to sell kids an experience, more than an actually good toy. There is a smaller version of this idea in the form of MrBeast Mutators, which features an action figure inside a chamber. Just like all these damn toys, you have to pour some goo in to get the full toy experience. Again, the toy is fine and you end up with a beer stein that doesn't really work. I don't think there is any previous toys that are the exact same as the Mutators, but functionally they work exactly the same as the original Beast Labs toys, but smaller. I can't help but think about how wasteful these toys are. Every single one leaves you with useless plastic. Even with the swarms, you have a leftover plastic tube, and that's if you just buy one. Imagine buying a whole bunch of them. You'd end up with a ton of plastic trash. This goes double for the Mutators and Cryo figures, which are mostly plastic trash to me. One of the toys we haven't discussed are the stretchy toys, which I'm sure many people will recognize as being exactly the same style of toy as the Heroes of Goo Jitsu. The Heroes of Goo Jitsu is a toy line that started in 2019 and has proven to be a hit for Moose Toys. The line features many original characters and has done many collabs with huge brands like Sonic, Marvel, and One Piece. This is a toy line I'm pretty unfamiliar with, and I feel like it will probably be one of those lines that kids today are super nostalgic for in the future. So yeah, these MrBeast toys are just Goo Jitsu toys with a different name. Look at this freakish product, which features a rubber Jimmy that you fill with goo. I've seen many people say this, but why does he look like a Family Guy character in 3D? I swear they captured his dead-eyed, no thoughts in his head look perfectly. The play pattern of this toy, which is again a direct copy and paste of a Goo Jitsu product, is to decapitate Jimmy and then fill his body up with plastic chocolate bars and money and then pump goo into his body and you can stretch it like a normal figure. It's really funny that the toy has what looks like a normal bottle cap to hold the goo in the body. I kind of want to buy one and just drink Dr. Pepper out of it. Also, why is the art of Jimmy on the box hitting the fake MrBeast pose from that meme? I mean, at least this toy is actually Jimmy. It's weird, sure, but this seems more like something a kid would actually want instead of this made-up MrBeast character. This toy line as a whole is lazy, reuses a ton of different toy lines, and feels like it's based on MrBeast's logo more than Jimmy himself. That's all I have to say on the toy line, but you guys should really check out the Daft Brothers video on it. He puts out banger videos about toys all the time, and he's severely underappreciated, so go give him some love, because he makes really great videos if you're interested in this kind of thing. And that's all I have for this one, folks. Once again, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing. I'm trying to get to 100k subs by the end of the year so I can get that cool plaque. If you want to support me past just subscribing, I also have a YouTube membership, so if you want to see what toys I'm buying, check that out. Alright, I'll see you next time. Ciao.